I'm Nate,
I'm Jaden,
and
and
you're listening to the J&N podcast. So, the purpose of this podcast is to kind of go over financial and business things,
as well as different stories or takes about politics and
things in Hollywood, shit that's going down in Hollywood, just our personal opinions on different things. Um, Today's topic is gonna kind of be over inflation and the challenge of the American people currently, and
side hustles.
and kind of how side hustles and stuff can kind of offset and mitigate how expensive things are.
So I again am Jaden Richardson. I am a professional musician. I that's what I am.
I'm Nate. I'm kind of a fitness influencer. That's my main thing. I love to work out. I'm also a motivational speaker and love to talk, and so wanted to start this podcast with my best friend. Yeah. So with that being said,
Inflation?
yeah, inflation. So you kind of got to go back to where it all started. Inflation has always been a thing in America.
In our lives specifically, as we are young adults and presumably most of our audience are young adults as well.
Yeah.
We started experiencing like inflation around COVID.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
that's where coming out of high school into college or into careers, we went from being able to afford things and having wealthy families to all of a sudden struggling to pay bills, and like a single job is no longer enough to support yourself. You can no longer sustain there's not sustainable living in America anymore.
Exactly. And kind of a personal story from my side on that is, I used to work at McDonald's and Walmart, and I used to be able to pay my personal expenses with just one job. And fast forward to 2024, I do Uber now, and even that is by and by itself is not enough to kind of pay all my bills. So I've kind of had to venture out and do a couple side hustles just to keep myself afloat. And so that's kind of what we wanted to talk about.
Which is, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that you need 3 jobs just to stay afloat now.
Exactly.
I don't even know what jobs you can support yourself with anymore.
I think what I've kind of noticed is the only people that seem to be able to afford a good living currently are managers. And when I say managers, I'm not talking about like a shift leader, assistant manager. I'm talking like top of the store manager, like your general manager. They're the only people being paid enough
to actually get ahead,
to actually get ahead.
Like, I know in certain jobs that I've worked at, my managers struggle just as much, just as in most situations where the employees are upset at the lower tier managers. The lower tier managers aren't getting paid much more than you are, but they're having to work so much more.
That's facts. That's facts.
Which is just slavery.
Did y'all know? So I looked this up on Google because I didn't know what it was. Did y'all know that the living wage in America, based off of a 40-hour work week to be able to survive and live a fairly good life, is $25 an hour, right?
That's insane. I remember before, I don't know, when I was my senior year of high school,
Yeah.
it was I think the living wage was $15.40 something. I think that was, and it's actually ridiculous that it's risen to that point now.
Exactly, and the thing is, I'll openly say I used to be an assistant manager, and I was making 18, and plus tips, so it was about 19 an hour, and even that wasn't enough. And once again, what I noticed was that it seems like only the highest level managers are making 25, 24, 25 an hour.
Yeah.
And then when you take that, what you have to do is you take that 25 an hour and you multiply it by the current rate of inflation to get what the living wage will be next year. I did that. It was going to be $26 an hour in 2025, and you
Damn.
can just kind of see where this is going.
It's not even. What's. It's not even. I was talking to my producer the other day. He's a really really knowledgeable dude named James Demain, and he was telling me that it looks like inflation's going up.
Yeah.
Like businesses are acting like inflation's going up. So everybody's
Yeah.
raising their prices,
Yep.
but the actual economy isn't going up.
Yeah.
Like inflation actually like isn't going up. And so we have all these businesses throughout America that are just raising their prices a shit ton. And when things get more expensive now, like babysitters, they're also raising
Yep.
their prices.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. Um, and with that being said, kind of going into the side hustles part of things, what I'm seeing now is in America, and like I said, unless you have one of those like manager jobs or like a corporate job, or you just have a really well paying job in general, you have to have two or three other streams of income just to survive. And we'll kind of talk about some of those.
Yeah. So, question, Nate.
Yeah.
So you've been a manager a couple of times now,
Yeah.
and something I've noticed a lot is it's not just that there's like not really high paying jobs.
Yeah.
Specifically, the hours are short. Businesses are short on hours.
Yeah.
Which
That
I think
too.
and flex back to the fact that like the economy actually isn't having inflation, but like businesses are artificially like raising their prices. And so
Yeah.
like in your experience, Nate, how many hours like generally were you getting as like in your manager positions throughout a couple different places you've worked?
So at McDonald's, I got about 45 to 50, depending on the week. They like to try to not give you overtime, but with McDonald's, with how busy McDonald's are, it's kind of hard not to. Um, and then at this tea shop I worked at called Magic Cup, I got an even 40. They were pretty limited on hours. Kind of going back, that's another thing I've noticed with businesses is they're not giving as many hours to employees as they used to. And I think another part of the reason is a lot of stuff now is automated, and they therefore don't need as many hours, and they don't need as many people to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of businesses now will only give you part-time work, like 30 hours.
Yeah, or like I've noticed specifically like it's the managers who get the most amount of hours.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
the employees, they're stuck with about 25 hours a
Yeah.
week, and give or take, give or take with
Yeah.
that. But it's hard to find a full-time job as just a regular employee unless you are a manager of some tier.
Or unless you're working for Uber.
Yes, Uber, side hustles.
Which,
That's
yes.
where we have to make our money now. Is like getting ahead. You can't get ahead with a job. Like
Yeah.
literally, like even before COVID,
Yeah.
you can't like it's hard to get ahead with a job. You need to go outside and do more.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we've both noticed is a 9 to 5 will never help you achieve financial freedom. And that's why in addition to your job, you have to work on your side hustles or work on your goals, and you have to be strategic with what you do. Uber. Well, the thing I like about Uber is you can work whenever hours you want. They'll only let you work 12 hours a day, but you can cash out instantly day of. You don't have to wait a week or 2 weeks like you have to for most companies. And that's why it's a really good side gig. It's even a really good main job. Um, Kind of another thing that we noticed that you can do as a side hustle in big cities is a lot of big cities have.
Scooter companies, electric scooter companies, like what is it? Dallas has about 1,500 electric scooters, and
Yeah.
they're divided among three different companies.
Yep. And
You've done
they
the research behind that, like.
yeah. They also have in addition to the scooters, they also have e-bikes. And where I'm kind of going with this is these companies, once again, to reduce labor and costs for the company, kind of in a way like Uber, will contract with individual people like me and Jaden, and they will pay you to go out and collect scooters on the street that need to be charged. And once again, this minimizes costs for the company. And in addition to partnering with normal individuals like me and Jaden, is not only will they partner with you, but they will give you 3 chargers for free to start this side hustle, and they will pay you between $3 and $7 per charged scooter. Meaning, if you average that out, that's about $5 a scooter. You know, I
Me and Nate actually went over to Dallas to kind of scout out
yes, we
this, like,
did.
that specific side hustle, and we counted about 34
Yeah,
scooters in about 30 minutes.
yeah. Just on the street, you know. And the other thing about these companies is when you partner with them, they have an app that will actually show you the exact location of where the scooters are that need to be charged. You know, I saw, you know, how I learned about this was I saw a Facebook reel, right? And this guy, it was the guy, it's the guy that always goes around and asks people, you know, hey, you have this nice car. What do you do for a living? Do you have any advice for the younger generation on like making extra money, building a business, and stuff like that? And he had an Audi R8, which, if y'all don't know what that is, it's about a $150,000 to $200,000 car. And he said that he kind of has an advantage because he gets a moving truck and he has a warehouse where he'll literally go through the city and pick up these scooters and charge them in the warehouse and return them. And that's how he's able to afford his life.
And the scooters, they're fairly big. Case in point here
Yeah.
is that to get ahead in current America, you can't just be working like a regular job. You
Yeah.
need to,
It doesn't
like,
work.
it's not even like, even if you go through the college route,
Exactly.
it's so hard to find a good job,
Yep.
especially going through the college route. Side hustles are where it's at.
Yep. Like, well, one more thing to kind of say about this is I think about 6 months ago when I was like job searching on Indeed, right? I saw something that it really disgusted me, and it was a general manager position that was paying about, I think it was like 15.50, about almost $16 an hour, and they were paying that for the general manager position, and they wanted a bachelor's degree, and it's just kind of
That
like
is so stupid.
how are you supposed to afford anything, you know, especially dealing with the stress as a general manager like that and only getting paid that much, like that's pretty shitty.
Indeed. Well, Nate.
Well, I think that kind of about wraps it up for today. Just want to say thank
Uh,
you to for listening to the Jane and podcast.
like and subscribe. We'll be definitely coming out with more content soon. Uh, it really helps us out. If you didn't like the video, make sure to subscribe and comment your least favorite part about the video. And if you liked the video, go ahead and give a like and comment your favorite part about the video. And until then.
We'll see y'all later.